Hello, this is Gina Lazenby. Here I am in beautiful sunny Sydney, delighted to be back, catching up on the news conversations here. And big news item recently is the World Economic Forum Global Gender Gap Report, which showed that Australia had dropped down 9 points in the rankings to outside of the top 20, unusual for one of the developed nations. A lot of conversations here and interesting initiatives happening. One of those is the Male Champions of Change, where 21 CEOs and business leaders have got together to examine their own organizations and where they can accelerate women's movement to the top levels. Very interesting. At the other end of the spectrum, the new Prime Minister here has recently appointed his new cabinet, 18 men and 1 woman. I mean, to say that's disappointing is really an understatement. As the opposition leader pointed out, Afghanistan has 3 women in its cabinet to Australia's 1. Are there really so few senior, qualified, experienced women to choose from? I don't think so. I think that the old systems that we have, the ways of looking and seeing things, I think women are there, but they're just not being seen. So 2 things need to happen. 1, we need to change the way the system sees women. And secondly, we women need to make ourselves more visible. Those 2 conversations I'm having next week at a business breakfast briefing and my feminine leadership workshop. And I think one distinction to make, as more and more women come to the top jobs and become leaders, it's even more important that they're allowed to be their authentic feminine selves and not adapting themselves to fit into the old system that was created by men for men, and that men have inhabited for decades, hundreds of years. So the emphasis really is on feminine leadership rather than simply an increase in the headcount of women leaders. And you know, there is so much new information to show that women are different. Brain research, particularly some fantastic research done by Dr. Daniel Amen, a neuroscientist in America, has shown that women have radically different brains. This is something we haven't quite realized before. What he's seen in the world's largest study of brain scans, 46,000 of them, is that women have a much greater activity in the front part of the brain. And he says women have enhanced capacities in 5 areas which are perfect for leadership. In fact, he says that women's brains are wired for leadership. Wow, that's a new and exciting thought. That should empower us. Anything that supports us in being more confident in our authentic feminine selves to bring about the real change that's needed, I think is really important. I'm going to be talking about this next week, particularly on the Feminine Leadership Workshop. Join me for one of the conversations.